we're here tonight with a special guest. It's basically related to, our motorsports industry. We have Mr. Ed Eskandarian.
Well, now we're going to talk about Stu Hilborn.
Well, you know a lot about him. He's a couple of days older than you, I think, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I went to his 90th celebration, and he had a big drawing board there, and everybody could write comments on there, and I wrote on there, you sure are successful for making a product that won't work. It isn't timed, and it's no good. But I'll tell you more about that later. So we're at a club meeting right after the war, and we're interested in the dry lake racing again. We've learned a lot during the war, looking at aircraft engines and other engines, and everyone come home with more knowledge, and everyone wants to go a little faster, and they think they got some good ideas. So a fella says, from Santa Monica, says, Stu Hilborn is making a fuel injection. Really? And he explains it, and I said, well, that's constant flow. It's not timed. Yeah, that's right. But it has to be timed because the Germans during World War II had timed fuel injection on their Me-109 fighter planes. So we thought it had to be timed. So I scoffed at it. I made a mistake there. And so our first hot rod show, Hilborn gets his first fuel injection finished, which he made with just a few tools in his garage. And there it is. And people would come by and say, oh, that won't work. It's not timed. And his answer was, why does it have to be timed? Well, they didn't know, but it just has to be timed. Well, that proved to be wrong. So he made a great success with that on midget racing cars. And here's what I learned later on. He took it to Indianapolis to put on the 270 Offies.
What year was that in?
Oh, it must have been about 50, right around 50s, I guess. Now, they had a problem there because McGurk, one time I asked Frank McGurk, who raced there, how was it racing a 270 Offie at Indianapolis before World War II? He says, well, we had two cylinders that were rich and too lean with these Riley side draft carburetors. And so we'd practice. If we went too rich, it would slow down. If we went too lean, it'd burn a piston. So we made a happy compromise. All right, then what? Then we'd wait until the last half hour to qualify when the air got cool and more power. Then what happened? Then we'd burn a piston. Oh, I thought that was bull about that cold air and late air. No, it was true. I said, well, Hilborn had it made when he brought fuel injection to the Speedway because he had equal distribution to all cylinders. Every cylinder would get the proper mixture. Well, no, I found out from Stu, no, it wasn't that. Sure, it did make 30 more horsepower over the Riley side drafts, two Riley side drafts, but no one would take a chance on it. But now they were stragglers, guys that couldn't make the show. They couldn't qualify. Well, they'll do anything to get qualified. They'd put it on for qualifying. So he'd get 2 or 3 cars into the show, and after they got into the race, before the race, they'd put the carburetors back on for the race. Second year, he went back there, and it was only to get these guys qualified for the show. But the third year, it was different. They had the Howard Keck car with Maury Rose as a driver, and they had the injection on there right off the bat, and they qualified good, not the fastest, but good. And his mechanics were Coons and Travers, Traco Company.
Well, that's in Los Angeles, isn't it, Ed?
Yeah, right there in Culver City. Yeah, these were originally hot rodders that raced at the Dry Lakes, Frank Coons and Jim Travers. And they had become Indy men now with their Keck car.
Well, that was one of the first big engine shops that made hot rod motors and also made really hardcore racing engines for Indianapolis, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were very precise men, very precision guys, you know. Well, they're qualified. Maury Rose says, "What are you doing under the hood, Jim Travers?" He says, "I'm taking off the injection and putting on the carburetors." "Oh, no. He says, "If that's what makes it go, that's what I want on there." And he finished good in the race. He didn't win, but he did very good.
Well, there's a lot of other people you've met over the years in the same business you were in. I think that Howard Johansson of Howard Cams, Jack Engel of Engel Cams, and the Crower family, and Harvey Crane, and even as a matter of fact, I think that some people who used to work for you started their own cam business, if I'm not mistaken. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the cam business?
Norris Baronian used to work for me in the beginning. Why, I worked out of the garage, but I had my grinder in another shop, and he started hanging around. I said, "What do you want to do, work or something? You're hanging around here watching me." "Yeah." So I said, "Okay, I'll teach you how to rough grind the cams, and at night I'll come and finish them." So it wasn't very hard to teach him, and he did a good job, and pretty soon we got a little bigger and bigger and got our own little shop, and he became my technical man, would answer all the questions, and I'd even send him back east to Indianapolis for the drag races and things like that. So he picked up made friendship with a lot of the racers, and later on he did want to start his own business. Yeah.
And how about Howard Johansson? I'm sure you met him once or twice.
Well, yeah, we'd meet him at the races. We were kind of competitors, and I always thought that we'd make fun of him and other cam grinders back and forth, and we'd have what they call the cam wars. He'd have a success, and I'd have a success, and we'd.
That was published in a magazine, wasn't it? Like, I think, wasn't that in Drag News?
Drag News, yeah. People got so they'd want to see what was in our ad or the other cam grinders had, what were we doing, joshing back and forth. What do you call it?
Well, it was kind of, to me, an antagonism in a way, and you created competition out there on the drag strip from what I could see.
Yeah, that's right. And
during the cam wars, you had a lot of guys using your product, and I guess that was we called it the gasser wars. Wasn't that what it was, Ed?
Yeah, that was, yeah.